Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box. Still some chance, Ange. It's the game week 19 review. And in a week where Edith's 11 manager Ryan Perrin was wowed by the fact that his wife Sophie knew what the word pro bono meant, we enjoyed lots of great football. Although, having seen some big scores in recent weeks with double game weeks in the Premier League, there were some low scores this week, as it was the FA Cup last weekend, and a lot of the Premier League side rested some of their big players. Although we did have the semi-finals of the League Cup, which gave people that maybe lost points at the weekend some chance to get some back in the week. In this edition of Banter in the Box, we've got your game week 19 winners and losers, normal player review, another quote of the week, and a manager of the season update. It was worth a possible 9 manager of the season points to Who the Fuck Is That? Did anyone get it? All will be revealed. So, without further ado, your game week 19 winners. Take a bow. Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos, the defending champion, climbed yet another place this week to third in the table. That is a season high for Alexi as he closes in on it would be what, a fourth Family Fantasy Football League title if you win it again, Alex. Take a bow also. I've got a life manager, Mops Hoxby, climbed another place to 15th. You have to go back to the 1st of June 2024 for the last time Mops was as high as 15th in the table. Take a bow also, Chairman's Choice manager, yours truly. I climbed another place to 4th. I've not been as high as 4th in the table since the 10th of June 2023. But the biggest game week 19 winner, Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis, stayed 13th in the table, but picked up a second weekly win, scoring 52 points. 1 manager of the season point for those 4. Your game week 19 losers, hang your head in shame. Rayleigh Rovers manager Simon Hoxby, a second week running as a game week loser, fell 2 places down to 5th in game week 19, and that is a season low for Simon. A bad week for No Happy Endings manager Di Maloney. She also fell 2 places down to 17th. You have to go back to the 23rd of August 2024 for the last time that Di was as low as 17th in the table. And Gobi Desert Canoe Club manager Pops Hoxby stayed 18th, but was the joint lowest scorers in game week 19 with just 11 points. And it's a second consecutive week as a game week loser for great Uncle George Moody. Clockhouse Rangers manager stayed rooted to the bottom of the table after registering a joint lowest score of just 11 points. 1 manager of the season point lost for those 4. Now, your player review. Here are the top goalkeepers in the competition. It was a bad week for goalkeepers. Like I say, lots of Premier League clubs choosing to rest their first choice goalkeeper, not only in the FA Cup, but in the case of Raya of Arsenal and Donnarumma of Man City, they were also rested in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Hence those two both losing 2 points. Solid week for Pickford and Rovs of Sunderland, who both picked up 3 points. Rovs is still available. 11 million is expensive for a goalkeeper, but 86 points is pretty good going. And Martinez of Villa obviously didn't play for Villa in the FA Cup, but he's the 10th high-scoring goalkeeper on the competition. And is still available for transfer, and £8 million is not bad for a goalkeeper. Top scoring defenders, great week for Nico O'Reilly of Manchester City. Only 1 manager's got him. And a pretty good week for Gabriel of Arsenal. 2 managers have him. Nunes of Man City still available for transfer. £10 million is not a bad price for someone who's already got 107 points. And Munoz of Palace is still available for transfer, the 10th highest scoring defender in the competition. Top midfielders, well, all the top midfielders have gone, but great week for Semenyo, who's now moved to Manchester City. 16 points in a single week. Only one manager's got him. Good week for Harvey Barnes of Newcastle. Only one manager has him. And a good week for Fernandes, the highest scoring midfielder in the competition again. Two managers have him. Zubimendi of Arsenal is still available for the highest scoring midfielder that's still available for transfer. Yes, it's expensive at £19 million, but 100 points already at this stage of the system. Got to be worth a sniff for someone, right? And your top scoring strikers. Waltemada of Newcastle and Ekitike of Liverpool both picked up 6 points and both are available for transfer. Yes, they come at a premium. Another solid week for Haaland, who played in both the FA Cup and League Cup semi-final for Man City. And surprisingly, even though Man City scored 10 in the FA Cup against Exeter, Haaland didn't get one of them. But he's still the highest scoring player in the competition by some distance, and that's why half the teams in the league have him. Watkins and Jimenez also still available for transfer. Solid strikers, and Jimenez isn't a bad price either at 18 million. Now, quote of the week. Last week, I sent an email link to Banter in the Box, which I haven't done this season until last week. And the reason I did that is because Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos asked me if I could email a link to Banter in the Box. I did suggest that he subscribe to the Family Fantasy Football League YouTube channel, then he'd get the updates when the video's loaded. And the reason he wanted me to email a link out to the Banter in the Box videos is because he doesn't have Facebook. Well, it prompted a message from Sarah Goodwin, the Musketeers manager, and she said this: I think such a young offspring, well, I don't know about young, as Alexi should be able to access Facebook. I think you should deduct manager of the season points for the extra work he is causing you. Well, I'm not going to deduct manager of the season points for Alexi, Sarah, but I am going to give you a manager of the season point for that quote of the week because it made me smile. Thank you very much for that. Who the fuck is that was worth 8 manager of the season points plus a bonus manager of the season point if you could tell me which current Family Fantasy Football League manager was pictured there. And 2 managers had a go this week. Benny United manager Mark Benwell thought that was a picture of Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis's arm. And the Musketeers manager Sarah Goodwin thought that was a picture of Benny United manager Mark Benwell's elbow. Well, I can reveal that neither of those guesses was correct. So the manager of the season table, top half anyway, looks like this. Alexi Lagos goes joint 9th for being a game week 19 winner. Mops Hoxby goes joint 7th for being a game week 19 winner. I am now clear 4th for being a game week 19 winner. And Sarah Goodwin has gone joint 2nd for getting a point for the quote of the week. But it is still Mark Benwell, 2 points clear at the top of the manager of the season table. But that could all change if you can tell me simply which current Family Fantasy Football League manager is pictured there. Because if you tell me, you will get 9 manager of the season points. And if you correctly guess the body part as well, no points for the body part if the manager's wrong. But if you get the manager right and the body part right, you'll get a bonus manager of the season points. So a possible 10 manager of the season points. And before I go, an important message. Mark Benwell emailed me or messaged me in the week to say, when is the FFFL presentation awards? Now, I know Mark watches these Banter in the Box videos, but he obviously doesn't wait until the end, which is why I probably should have done this earlier, because he's probably not watching this now. But for anyone that is still watching this, the final slide in every edition of Banter in the Box this season has the date of the presentation awards. Saturday, the 6th of June, 1 p.m. Venue, TBC. Hopefully it's going to be at FFL HQ. Just got to convince the wife, unless anyone else wants to host it. But yes, the date for your diary, Saturday, 6th of June, kick-off 1 p.m. All managers that are members of the FFFL Facebook group have also been invited to the event there. So note the date for your diaries. And that's your banter in the box for this week. Also, just keep an eye out for the knockout stages of the Family Fantasy Football League Cup. Going to draw the round of 8 for the teams that finish second and third in the group stages. And at the same time, I'll also draw the quarterfinals, and that will determine who plays who in the semi-finals as well. That will happen in the next 5 days. It's got to happen in the next 5 days because FFL HQ is closed from the 22nd of January until the 30th of January, and the knockout stages of the FFFL Cup happens on the 1st and 2nd of February, as long as it's a full Premier League fixture weekend. So that is your banter in the box for this week. Until then, everybody, take care. Bye bye.